So in the past, I used to be very reflective and very introspective, and these days I am not so much like that. And I want to kind of get into this. I want to talk about this because I think it's important. And I think that, when I look around me, most people haven't got this deep reflection and introspection. Not as much as what I used to have, but I feel like now in my life I don't have that as much as before, and I want to talk about this because there are trade-offs, man. But like with both of these kinds of lifestyles, in a sense, because I think they're lifestyles, but I think you have to tune in with yourself and be honest with where you're at in life and what chapter needs to be focused on. Because in the past I was in this reflective and introspective, contemplative, meditative chapter of my life, and that served me. But to keep it going, to maintain it, to be like, this is the life I'm gonna live always, like life itself didn't let me do that, but if I did that for the rest of my life, I would be neglecting the other aspect of life, which is like taking action, So there's like these two aspects of life, of like, you're not really doing anything, you're just like reflecting and introspecting and contemplating and meditating. And then there's the other aspect where you're taking action towards things. You're actually progressively working towards something. You're making progress towards building something in your life, whatever it could be. Maybe it's like some artistic project, or it's working on a business, or it's working on some kind of skill that is gonna help you in some way, or like you're working on some kind of personality trait or characteristic or whatever. Like it's what kind of life do you want to live? What you know what I mean? Because like, if I had never got up my ass and decided to take action towards the life that I wanted to live, and just kept going down this introspective path, then I would still be living with my parents, and I wouldn't be going to the gym, and I wouldn't be going out socializing and trying to improve my social skills and all this kind of stuff. And you see, if you don't do that, because what I experienced not doing that when I was in this very introspective phase of my life, I experienced like shame or guilt. I experienced this kind of like lack of self-belief, lack of self-worth, lack of self-esteem, simply because there were these things that I knew that I wanted, these things that I knew would help me, things that I knew that I wanted to improve on, but I wasn't doing it, And so it's like, when you know that when you have these innate desires within you, these kinds of voices in your head saying like, oh yeah, like I probably need to socialize more, or I probably need to eat healthy more, or I probably need to do this or that, blah, blah, blah. This kind of quiet voice of just saying like, this is what kind of needs to be done. If you neglect that, it's you feel bad about yourself, man. Like, holy shit, in the past, dude, when I was in that phase and I was like, spiritually bypassing, basically, I was trying to like use spirituality as the solution to everything in my life. When I was trying to do that, I just felt bad about myself. because I was just using spiritual bullshit to justify not taking action in the world towards the things that I knew needed to be done, basically. And I'm not perfect now, man. Like, it's still a fucking struggle, but like, I recognize that it's like, oh yeah, these things I need to do, you know, and you know, I don't bullshit myself anymore. You see, I don't feel bad about myself because I'm not bullshitting myself anymore. I know that there are these things in myself that I lack. And like, this is, I'm not saying it's like, oh, there are these things in myself that I lack, therefore I'm not good enough. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, like, there are these things in myself that I lack. Like, it's just discernment. I'm just like, yeah, there are these things in my character or my life that I lack. And there's no issue with that. It's just like, you know, that's just the life that I've been dealt. And there's always a room for improvement. You know, I don't look at it as like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough. It's just, okay, this is where I'm at in life, and I would like to be better. And, you know, there's this life running through me that expresses itself as these desires going like, you know, if you were like really aligned with truth and authenticity, it's like, this is like the next thing that you would do, right? If that makes any sense. So that's one thing that's one point that I want to talk about with, you know, the pros of this action taking life, right? But again, there's this trade-offs between reflection, introspective life, and like action taking life. And again, you've got to be honest with yourself, like, what are you called to do now? What does life want to do now? You know, and yeah, another point I want to make is, like, well, when do these chapters happen? When are you in a phase of introspection and contemplation, and when are you in a phase of action taking and building up a life you want to live? Well, I think it just comes down to, like, it's like, how much support have you got now? Like, how much like foundational security have you got? You see, when I was living with my parents, yeah, like, most of my days were spent just smoking weed, like going for walks, introspecting, reflecting, sitting down, watching the water, and just inquiring into who I am and what reality is and shit like this, and listening to fucking spiritual teachers on YouTube. That was like most of my days, man. And because I had this sense of security, it's like, oh, I don't really need to do anything. But, you know, push comes to shove, and you know, you get wake-up calls again and again and again, and like I said, you know, you start feeling kind of bad about yourself that you're not taking action on the things that you know you should be taking action on. And so eventually life nudges you just a bit more, you know, the straw that broke the camel's back, just one more thing, and you're like, all right, no more of this reflection shit, because there's the security is breaking down again. And this is an ongoing cycle. It's not like you reach some security and stability and then you're forever in introspection, contemplation, meditation, spiritual mode, because there are cycles. Things get built and then they get destroyed. That is life, right? So there are these cycles, I think, of building up security and stability, so then you can sit down, reflect, contemplate, meditate, and really go into like the fucking spiritual shit, right? Pursue enlightenment or whatever, you know? So again, right now I'm in this chapter of like trying to build up some kind of security, some kind of stability. I think this is just like intuitively how I think about it. Intuitively how it seems to be. So right now it's like, yeah, I'm in this spot of building more and more building a life, then I can just kind of be like, yeah, this is who I am, where I feel like this like having a better sense of self-esteem and confidence, and also like physical security and stability, you know, and financial security and stability and whatever. So then it's like, okay, I've got the groundwork done. Now I can, you know, kind of reap what I sowed, you know. Get the fruits of my labor, do you know what I mean? So yeah, and so, but yeah, the trade-offs, man, like again, like, because you can, like, it's this is the interesting thing, is like when I was in the past, when I was in this kind of, you know, smoking weed, reflecting kind of state, I was feeling bad about myself in a lot of the time because I wasn't taking action, right? And so it's like I'm in this phase where I'm taking more action compared to like reflecting and just sitting down, right? You know, I've got this like sense of like there's no time to waste, you know. I can't fucking, if like literally when I fucking sit down to meditate, if I do that, it's like I don't get any fucking benefit from it. Like basically I get no benefit from it now, because it's like that's just, it's like it's just like my body isn't wired that way yet. I can't do that. It's just my body's like, my body and mind saying like there's no fucking time to waste here, dude. You know, like meditating's not fucking gonna help me right now. And I'm not saying it never will. Like what I'm saying is like it's not really serving me right now, you know. And of course, like as a healthy habit, like yes, it's good to be able to sit down and rest and fall into a bit of a meditative state, of course. But as a like a thing where it's like, okay, I'm gonna like make it a routine to meditate, or just, you know, I'm gonna really pursue contemplation and meditation and inquiry into, you know, the self and reality and whatever. Like that kind of pursuit, that kind of orientation is like, that's not serving me in my life right now. I can't do that. No, not much anyway. You know, again, it's like it's always kind of a part of me, but it's not at the forefront, right? So, fuck, what was I saying? I got off point there. I got off topic. Yeah, the trade-offs. So yeah, I was in the past smoking weed, blah, 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 feeling bad about myself. But now it's like in this phase of action taking, you know, I'm starting, not even starting, like I've always kind of seen the cons of it as well. You know, action taking, again, there's a problem with this. There's a problem with rushing about and going, you know, I can't waste time, you know, like I've got to fucking fulfill my potential. Like there's no time to waste, you know. It's like I've got to like keep going. I got to keep going, you know. Of course, there's a fucking problem with that. And this is the problem that I always used to talk about in my videos. I would always say, like, look around you, man. Like, everybody's rushing about, trying to do this and that, but there's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. Because I was in that, I was only seeing the cons of this action-taking mode. And yeah, everybody is doing this, man. Everybody is rushing around. Like, there's not many people really just taking the time to just reflect and introspect and to be like, wow, man, I'm fucking alive, dude. Like, what the fuck? So yeah, I think it's like when you're in one of these phases, one of these chapters, one of these spots of your life, it's like, I think the transition phase, the moment of transition is when the cons outweigh the pros, when the cons outweigh the pros. That's basically it, man. When the cons outweigh the pros, you transition into the other phase, right? doing and being. Like, this is a duality. This is a dichotomy that I've talked about many times in all my fucking videos, dude, of being and doing, being and doing, being and doing. And this is the thing. This is really what I'm talking about again, you know. And, you know, you could argue that, you know, reflection, introspection, contemplation, meditation is a doing as well. But, you know, you can draw this dichotomy here as well if you want, you know. And so, yeah, once kind of this reflective mode starts becoming into a complacent mode, and you start kind of not reaping any benefits from this, and you start experiencing more kind of like retardation from not doing anything, then you switch into this other chapter of your life where it's like, okay, got to make something of my life, got to be somebody, you know, I've got to be somebody in the world, got to show up in the world, got to walk up and down in the world, you know what I mean? But then, you know, like, I've experienced this, it's like in the past, I used to like sleep in again and again and again. I'd have no alarm. For the past, like, I don't know, year or so, I've been getting up at like 8 a.m. every day, and it's just like, alarm goes off, I'm straight out of bed, man. Straight out of bed, no time to waste. I'm like, okay, what's next for what have I got to do for the day, you know what I mean? And it's not easy, man, but like, I needed to, like, the other thing is, like, this is good for for battling mental illness as well, you know. If you got depression and shit, like, if you really make a commitment to be like, fuck, dude, I can't fucking do this shit anymore, I'm going to just do this work, and no matter how fucking hard it is, it's still hard for me, man. Like, I've been doing it for like a year or so, probably less than a year, but even so, like, it's been a long time, I feel. And it's like, even when it's like I get up out of bed at 8 a.m, straight out of bed, and, you know, I've got this more routine. It's not like really a routine life, but I've got like this more, I don't know, disciplined, self-control, disciplined kind of life. But I don't even see it like that anymore, because it's just become second nature. You know, you do something so much again and again that it's just second nature. Like, I've been going to the gym basically every single day for quite a while now. And, like, in the past, when I first started getting into, like, working out, it'd be like, fuck, you know, I got to do it at least 3 times a week. Fuck, I'll just do 2 times a week, and I'm like dreading it. And I was just doing like fucking body weight and shit in my room. But yeah, so, but like, if you really want something and you just commit to doing it, eventually it just becomes second nature. Anyway, I don't know, I'm getting off topic, I think. But yeah, like, again, I wanted to say, like, this, yeah, I don't know, I guess it's like, you kind of have to also be careful that this kind of reflective contemplation, introspective mode is not just a depression as well. Like, you got to be careful that that's not just happening either. And again, like, that was mixed with that. But I think, you know, I've experienced depression like a lot of my life, man. You know, not always. It comes and goes. You know, it comes and goes. Sometimes it's not there at all. Sometimes it's there. Blah, blah, blah. And you know, it's there whether or not. It doesn't matter what fucking chapter I'm in. Action taker mode, reflective mode, right? It doesn't really change. It's gonna be there. I don't know really what I'm saying, but but yeah, just I realized that you know, having some kind of structure in your life to begin with, to really form habits, healthy habits, is just a good foundation to have, you know. like getting up at the same time every morning, getting exercise every day, getting sunlight. I mean, man. So anyway, being and doing, dude. Being and doing. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video because I was just thinking, fuck, dude, I used to be so reflective. I used to really perhaps not even reflective, man. I still feel like in my life now, I still have reflective thoughts, but I'm not sitting down actively reflecting. It's just thoughts are coming that are just, I suppose you could call them reflective, I don't know. But I guess introspective, in the past, I used to be very introspective. I just sit on my bedroom floor and just stare at shit and just wonder who is staring, and just wonder what is this experience? What is reality? Who am I? And just really try and figure that shit out, man. And I'd go on walks and just think and think and think. And, a con with that, another con could be overthinking, man. You just think and think and think and think. You overthink. And it's a lot of the things that you think are about the things that you kind of want in your life. And the things that you want in your life, you have to actively take action towards that. And if you just think about it and never take action towards it, then, again, you feel bad about yourself. Because you know that you want this thing, but you're not doing anything about it. But anyway, yeah, I just want to make this video because I was just thinking, this evening, just thinking tonight, that, man, I just don't feel like I have the time to strip away the sense of time. I've been quite habituated now to this feeling of there's no time to waste. And again, that's another that is a wise thing to hold, It is wise to be right, there's no time to waste. My time here is limited. I ain't gonna waste my potential, man. I ain't gonna fucking waste my potential. I've got to fulfill it, man. I want these fucking things, dude. I want to fucking live the life I want to live. I'm not gonna fucking waste that. And that's fucking wise, Yet at the same time, there can be a lot of suffering caused by wanting to fulfill your potential. Do you see how that can be the case? That the very desire to fulfill your potential puts this pressure on you and fabricates this sense of time that causes suffering. Because there's a lot less suffering when you don't have a sense of time, you don't have a sense of self, you don't have a sense of thing. So yeah, there's trade-offs, man. There's costs. But I think you can't have one without the other anyway. You can't have being without doing. You can't have doing without being. You can't have a sense of there's no time to waste, and a sense of there's no time at all. I don't know. Does that make any sense? I don't know. But yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, really, it's like all these opposites, they're one and the same. They're one and the same. Like I said in one of my previous videos, or was it last video? I don't know. That, you know, you cannot have a one-sided coin. A one-sided coin does not exist. When you have a coin, you automatically have a two-sided coin, but it is one coin. So really, opposites are one and the same. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, there are some thoughts. And you may think like, Jasper, are you in an action-taking mode though? Like, you've just spent like 25 minutes talking about some pretty introspective stuff. Yeah, well, that's just my nature though. That's just kind of what I am, dude. But again, like, when I go throughout my life, sitting down is like, if I just sit down and do nothing, it's like no, I've got to keep moving. Like, I'm on this kind of mission, you know, and most of the time I can't really articulate what that mission is, but I have this drive that's like, I need to keep moving towards this. And again, in the past, I would say, like, you know, people who can't just sit down and do nothing and be okay with that, then, you know, like, that's what all the suffering comes from. Like, if you can't just sit down on your floor and do nothing and not feel the need to do anything, and if you can just, like, be content with doing nothing, like, if you can't just sit down on your floor and be content with nothing, then, like why can't you do that, you know? Like, and so everything, like, we do, all our purpose and our mission is just a distraction, an avoidance from the truth, an avoidance from ourselves, an avoidance of our own pain and suffering. And again, yeah, there's fucking truth in that, man. Holy shit, is there truth in that? But again, like, if you do that, man, like, if you do that without any kind of stability or security in your life, well, you could just end up being homeless. And it's just not a good life, man, you know? It's like, make sure you wake up to a life you want to actually live. I think Daniel Ingram said this. I'm pretty sure he said this. He wrote a book called Mastering the Core Teachings of the Buddha. And I'm pretty sure I read in it something he said, like, you know, make sure you wake up to a life you want to wake up to, you know. Because you could, you know, get enlightened, but, you know, your life is shit. You know, your experience is shit, you know. So make sure you build a life that you want to actually become enlightened to, you know what I mean? So there's a time and a place for everything, man. And right now, dude, it's time to fucking go, brother. So I hope you have a fucking good day today. And come join our online community, the Truth Playground. Top link in the description. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.